again. It's a rich thing.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing the fourth quarter scoring for the Chicago Bulls, why it needs to be talked about a little bit more in relation to this team, just the overall fourth quarter performances that we've had so far. It's not necessarily just about the scoring, but we have seen for the past couple of games that we have been in those close, in those competitive games, the Chicago Bulls seem to not be able to get the job done. So that's where I'm going to come in today, give my own, thoughts and opinions on that and whether or not the Chicago Bulls can be better in the fourth quarter in the future. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and how they can improve their fourth quarter performances. This is obviously coming off of a game against the New Orleans Pelicans in which I felt like we had the control. I honestly felt like we played like the better team. But unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, we lost that game against the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, that's not to say the Pelicans didn't play well. I thought they played decent as well. It is what it is. I think both teams played very well. But unfortunately, I feel like from the very beginning of the season until now, the fourth quarter performances have not been talked about anywhere near enough. Now, you might be asking why I feel that way, because there's obviously a lot of cases where we've won games, but I do feel like if you actually look at some of the games that we have played, when it has been close and competitive, we've not won a lot of them, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, you count this Pelicans game, the Boston game, the Washington Wizards game. I think the San Antonio Spurs game as well was a very close one. The Raptors game was a close one as well, if I haven't mentioned that one already. Again, there are a lot of games there for the Chicago Bulls. In our 7 losses, they have been close and competitive, and we have yet to really hit the mark on actually putting these teams away. And there's also a reason why I feel like it's not been talked about enough. It's because our starts were just so horrific that it took away from our fourth quarters, ladies and gentlemen. When we go into the second quarter, let's say, with a 20-point deficit or 19-point deficit from time to time, awful starts to games, awful start to the third quarter as well, it does take away from the fourth quarter performances, because at the end of the day, the fourth quarter performances are not the main topic of discussion. It just isn't, because we've had so many other worrying issues. The fourth quarter scoring, the fourth quarter offense, the fourth quarter defense has just been, a problem for the wayside to focus on later. But now we've seen the Bulls get off to better starts. Now we've seen the Bulls get a little bit of a better situation in the third quarter as well. We turn our heads away from that, and the fourth quarter is still there, ladies and gentlemen, and we've just not been able to get the job done. What do I feel like has been happening for this team? Obviously, the reliance of 2 individual players, the reliance of Zach and the reliance of DeMar are probably the big ones. Mainly DeMar DeRozan, because Zach LaVine has not been healthy for a long period of time. But remember the game against Brooklyn where Zach LaVine had to score more than the Brooklyn Nets team to win that game. You may consider that as reliance on one guy, reliance on Zach, reliance on DeMar. These 2 things, in my opinion, are one of the biggest reasons why we are struggling in the fourth quarter. When you look to the Pelicans, again, another example here, they could go to a variety of guys to finish the game. They could go to CJ McCollum, who again has proven to be able to do that before. You could go to Brandon Ingram, who actually finished the game against the Chicago Bulls with some big shots. You can go to Zion. You can go to Jonas Valanciunas. All those guys are capable to really end a game for any given night against any given team. That's why they're so talented, and that's why I feel like they are one of the best teams in the NBA. They may not be able to show it. They may have not had a great start to their year, but I feel like down the line, that's what we're going to see out of the Pelicans. For the Bulls, if it's not Zach and it's not DeMar, I don't know who it is. That's basically the question. Who is it going to be outside of those 2? We are over-relying on those 2 guys. I think that's the first thing. Number 2, as I did mention in the game reaction as well, turnovers. Our turnover situation has been diabolical recently, and I do feel like turnovers for the past 3 years with Billy Donovan has been a big talking point. Yes, with Lonzo Ball, our turnovers reduced dramatically and we're able to get into transition a little bit more, play a little bit faster, get everybody involved. Lonzo Ball is out, so we deal with turnovers again. Remember when we didn't have a point guard under our first year with Billy Donovan, we had to have Satoransky and Kobe White as our main point guards, and it was turnovers galore. LaVine turnovers, Kobe White turnovers. I think Satoransky was solid, but you could argue he had a couple of turnover games as well. Everybody was just constantly turning the ball over on that team. And it kind of feels like it's the same way this time around, where we don't really have, a true point guard outside of Goran Dragic. And there are a lot of turnovers on this team, a lot of unforced turnovers, a lot of turnovers that were definitely forced, and everything of those natures. So we've got to fix that issue, because what happens in the fourth quarter, if you turn the ball over a lot in the fourth quarter, it's going to lead to chances created down the other end. And the whole point of a third quarter and a fourth quarter to end these games is to make sure that the other team doesn't have the chances to end the game. You got to make sure you're ending the game. You have the most chances to end the game compared to a team like the Pelicans, who obviously ended the game. And all of our turnovers were a big issue for that. Now, the Pelicans also had a lot of turnovers, so that's not excusing them. They've got to fix their own turnover issues. But for the Bulls side of things, we've got to fix our turnovers. So two things there, ladies and gentlemen, I think can easily be rectified in terms of how to approach the fourth quarter. Obviously, the turnover issues and, of course, the over-reliance of two guys. Again, if we have this open ball movement, randomness on our offense like we wanted from the preseason until now, then everybody should be involved in the fourth quarter. Guys like Vucevic, who, to be fair, has made some timely shots in the fourth. Guys like Javonte Green, guys like a Patrick Williams, who got criticized a lot for that Boston game when he missed a shot, a three-point shot to actually win that game for us. So he got a lot of criticism there. All these guys should be getting involved in the fourth quarter and in clutch situations, if that's how we're trying to make our offense, I guess, come to life. If you want to be random, you can't just keep going to DeMar and Zach every single play down the stretch. That's not random. That's not creative. That's not open offense. And I think that's something we've got to work on. And maybe Alonzo Ball will be able to work on it a little bit more. But of course, these guys were the guys that did it last year for us. DeMar DeRozan was king of the fourth quarter last year, and he still holds that name today. He's a great fourth quarter player. He's a great second half player. He's a very clutch player as well, one of the clutchest in the NBA. These things are very, very obvious, and in my opinion, he should have got fouled in that Pelicans game. Zach LaVine has also had his moments to be a clutch player. Is he the most clutchest player in the world? No, he's not. But remember that Charlotte Hornets game, I think 3 years ago now. He was unbelievably clutch in that game, and he didn't give the Hornets that much of a chance to end the game, because we got the steals, we got the deflections, we got what we needed to get to come back in that game and win it at the very end of the game. Zach LaVine has had moments like that before. But other guys do need to get involved. Guys like an Ayo, who is starting. Guys like Caruso, who ends the games. Guys like a Dragic, who ended the game today. Guys like Pat, who, if he does end the game, these guys have to get a little bit more involved and, I guess, take that pressure off of DeMar, take that pressure off of Zach. And I think the Pelicans got it right. They have so many other guys that can end the game for them. It's not just reliant on, let's say, a Zion Williamson, who's probably their best player. It's not just reliant on Zion. It's not just reliant on one guy. Everybody can contribute. So I think that's definitely the most important thing for us. Turnovers, we got to fix up. I think we can do that. A little bit more attention to detail, maybe a little bit more rest. We'll be able to fix those turnover issues. And of course, with players returning, we'll be able to fix those turnover issues. But one thing I do want to mention as well, this video is giving my 2 cents on the situation 100%. But I feel like, in terms of this video, it's more of me asking the question of why our fourth quarters are so bad compared to me finding the answers. I feel like there are two answers there that I've given, but surely there's more than that as to why our fourth quarters have not been the best. So I'm going to ask that question. I'm going to bring it to you guys in the comments below. Why do you think our fourth quarters are that bad? I don't think it's the worst in the league. I'm not here saying we're the worst fourth quarter team in the NBA. I'm not saying that at all. But the games that we've played, we've not been very good in the fourth quarter. Even the third quarter, you could say we haven't been the greatest. So at the end of the day, why do you think that is? And let me know in the comments below what you think. Is it because of what I said? Do you agree with what I say? But also, add new things. Is there other things that you think are the reasons why we are struggling in these quarters? And again, I'll leave that to you guys in the comments below. And hopefully, when the comments do come in, I can answer them, talk about if I agree or disagree with them, and everything of that nature. But with that being said, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.